Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are, it is right now. You are right here. My name is Manuel, and it is my pleasure to welcome you. Today is day 14 of the show, and I have to congratulate you for making the best decision of the day to spend some time with me. Let's get started. So, the Grammys were last night, which means, once again, we had the great privilege of watching a room full of some of the wealthiest, most famous people in the world congratulate each other for having the courage to speak their minds on controversial political issues in a room full of people who agree with each other completely. That's always my favorite part because when every political statement points in the same direction, that's not courage. That's a group project where everyone copied the same answer. Now, if you're keeping score at home, the message was Trump bad, MAGA bad, ICE bad, and if you disagree, you're also bad. Which is interesting because the Grammys used to be about music, but now it's more like Coachella for people who think applause equals moral authority. Now, full disclosure, I did not watch the Grammys. I, like most people, got caught up from viral social media posts of clips. Honestly, I didn't even know it was on last night. Hell, I didn't even know it still existed. These pop culture award shows are just one big elitist circle jerk. And call me a prude, but I'm not interested in participating in such things. But let me give you a reframe on these brave dissidents from last night. What you're seeing is not political insight. It's status signaling inside a closed system. These performers aren't persuading anyone. They're auditioning for approval from the people already clapping. That's not activism. That's network maintenance. That's maintaining their social capital within their closed social system. And here's how you know that's exactly what it is. If something costs you nothing, all right, no audience loss, no career risk, no social penalty, then it's not bravery. It's just reading the room and leaning into the applause. That's not courage. That's modern show business doing what modern show business does. Now let's talk about the recurring theme from last night for a moment, because that one's especially revealing. When a pop star says, "Ice bad," what they're really saying is, I have outsourced my understanding of a complex issue to whatever my peer group finds fashionable. And yes, the robot voice was on purpose. Because that's not thinking. That's pretending the costume does the thinking. That's cosplaying as a philosopher. You'll notice something else, too. None of these statements come with any real suggestions for solutions more complex than shouting, "Abolish ICE!" It's all vibes. It's all emotion. It's all confidence without understanding, which is a topic we've addressed before. Check out my previous videos on Don Lemon, for example. I mentioned cosplaying a moment ago, and what these celebrities did was something I once heard called cosplay epistemology, which, translated into everyday talk, simply means playing expert on a stage. Remember the example I've used before of people who put on a lab coat and convince themselves that makes them a scientist. And the audience eats it up because humans love moral theater more than they love solutions. And why not? It doesn't actually cost them anything. Have you seen any of these celebrities actually joining in on the front lines in Minneapolis? Of course not. Now, here's the part that really matters. If you watched that broadcast and thought, wow, this makes me really consider my political views, congratulations. You are officially the smallest demographic in America because everyone else either already agrees and feels smug or already disagrees and rolls their eyes. So the net effect is zero persuasion and maximum self-congratulation, which tells you the real purpose. These speeches aren't meant to change minds. They're meant to signal tribe membership. Here's something you already know. The Grammys are not a music awards show anymore. They're a ritual affirmation of elite consensus set to a soundtrack. Now, one final reframe before we move on. If the same political statements were made in the opposite direction, let's say at a country music show, a NASCAR event, a UFC fight, they would be described as dangerous, as divisive, as politicizing entertainment. But when they happen at the Grammys, oh, they are brave. So, so very brave. That's not consistency. That's home field advantage. And that's your takeaway. Not the hypocrisy, though there's plenty of that. It's the incentives. Because people respond to incentives. Show business responds to applause, and applause responds to conformity. Nothing mysterious here. Let me leave you with one final thought. Mocking these elites who are doing all this virtue signaling from their ivory towers is just fine. I would even encourage it, to be honest, but that's my sense of humor. But what's more important is to understand why they do the virtue signaling, to demystify the elites. To be clear, I'm not saying that most of them don't actually believe their own words, but I am saying if they didn't, how would you ever know? So don't let people who can't be bothered to do more than seek applause from other virtue signalers get you hot and bothered. And this doesn't just apply to these one percenters. The same goes for virtue signaling fools in their mother's basements posting nonstop on social media. People who can't be bothered to live their lives according to their own rhetoric shouldn't bother you. Once you've seen the bait for what it is, don't bite. All right. That's enough for today. We'll continue tomorrow. And as always, be useful.